Hello and welcome today. Hi there. Welcome to the session today. I'm Michaela. Nice to see you here. Today we're going to be talking about transforming the body, unveiling the illusion, having a look at that. Very curious to see where it all goes today. So nice to have you here. Hello from Ontario. Hello, Christine. Hello. Christine, were you at yesterday's session? Are you the same Christine? Yes, nice, great. If you'd like, we can also answer to your question yesterday that you missed out on, or I can respond to you later. Either is totally good. Let's see where it goes. I'd love to know where you're coming in from. That'd be great. I'm in Alberta, Canada. A little, not so little, it's actually city size, of a place called Okotoks, just southwest of Calgary. Yeah. From the Netherlands. Hello. How might I pronounce your name? Excuse me. Is it Mies? Is it Mies? Mies. Great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Awesome. Nice to be here. We have some smoky weather here. The weather's actually mild, but it's quite smoky. I'm not actually sure where the smoke is coming from. I hope you got some nice stuff down your way. Yeah. So, yeah, please, from India. Hi, Rushita. Did I pronounce that correctly? Rushita? Or is it Rukita? Hi. And now I put out two pronunciations and I'm not sure which one you're saying yes to. The first one, okay. Rushita, very nice to meet you. Nice to see you here. Yeah, so great to be here with you. Smiling in with Chicago. Hello, Lady Tammy. So great. I love that we can connect here. So I come from a background grounded in something called the three principles, which is a very simple spiritual and psychological understanding of how the mind works, of who we really are, that we are infinite intelligence. We are that which lives and breathes and animates our body. And another key here is that the only thing we're ever experiencing is the feeling of our own thinking, which kind of blew my mind and actually still does. I am always in a learning capacity. We are all equal. We are all equal here. We all come from the same source energy. That is the great equalizer of all humans. So wonderful, right? Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm glad that connected. And if only we could all see that clearly and to really not be afraid of what we're feeling. When we start to get that the impact of what it means that all of our experiences are of our own making through our own thinking. And that in how I see it, that is such good news. That is not a big, heavy responsibility. That is like, oh, thank goodness. Because what it tells me is that if I can experience something that I'm not really liking the experience of, then I know that I have the capacity to create an experience for myself that feels good. And that's where we're all kind of leaning into our natural, our true nature is always looking for life to be sort of easeful, to be simple, to flow. And that's available. That's available to all of us every moment of every day. It's pretty marvelous. Yeah. I discovered the 3 principles about 3 years ago. And today I'll speak to that in how it related to my body and my experience of my body, and how that continues to change today. Because here's the thing, you're human, I'm human, we cannot escape our humanism. We have the 3 principles, by the way, are mind, divine consciousness, and thought, divine thought. So mind is really the infinite intelligence. That's source, creator, God, whatever word you use to describe that one that creates all, which is one. We're all connected. And consciousness is our ability to be aware. And mind, when I speak about divine mind or universal mind, I'm speaking about the intelligence, the guidance of the creator, of infinite intelligence and potential, wisdom. And thought is the creative, it's the creative stuff. Everything is first created in thought, and then we can experience it in form. We can experience it in the form of the body through feelings, and it is our consciousness or our awareness that allows us to, well, to be aware that there's something to experience. How? Through the senses of the body, through this unique and magnificent vehicle that we live and express through. And let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah. So let's really arrive today, and with some breathing. So if you will, in whatever way feels good to you, I'm going to play today with a 7-11 breath, where I'm inhaling to the count of my 7, pardon me, and exhaling through the count of 11. You can play along with me, finding your own rhythm, and let's just do that 3 times today. So full breath in at the count of 7. And out for 11. when we breathe our breath, it's like, and when we look to our breath, to me, it's like cleansing the palate of the mind. Preparing it for the next thing. So let's dive in. The image in the body. Yeah. And really, what I would like to offer you in this session is an understanding of what's going on, of what you're really experiencing, and hope, and a way forward to see your own part in it and how wonderful that is and what agency it gives us, truly. I would love to invite you to, at any time, if you have a question or a comment, please, I'll try and keep track of it, and I will answer whatever questions you have. And if something doesn't make sense or you see it another way, let's talk about it. Let's explore together. That'd be great. So what you'll kind of learn today is how you're not the image in the mirror. And we already talked about what you really are, but I'll sort of demonstrate that. I hope it's okay if I use a whiteboard. I don't need to. If you're on a phone and it's hard to see the screen, that's okay. But I might bring in a whiteboard too, but it's a simple diagram, so I can also just describe it to you. My sound is low. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Let me see if there's a way that I can... Is it just my voice? Am I talking too low? And is there other... Is everyone else experiencing my sound is really low as well? Just so I can get it, your voice probably. Okay. I'm going to, I'm using AirPods. Does this sound a little better? It's fine for you, Cynthia. You know what, Sarah? I'm going to try and raise my voice a bit. Okay? Yeah, because I want it to be a good experience for everybody. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Ren, good for you. Cynthia, okay, great, awesome. Thank you. So we're going to look at what you're actually seeing and ways of moving towards having a better relationship with your body, and not just within it, but seeing it in the mirror. And to me, I kind of see two things which I'll share in a story a little bit later, about how we can have a relationship in my mind that is sort of within my body and to my body. So we'll kind of explore that. And this missing piece that I see that's really common with the people that I work with, that can really affect a change in the physical body, if there is a change that wisdom is guiding you towards. And that is very different. I'm just going to scooch back a moment after saying that. Because when I'm talking about wisdom, infinite intelligence, creator, or universal mind. Now, universal mind is not influenced by society. It's not influenced by things out there. It's pure. It's pure. And that is the voice that speaks through us that we can trust. And then I might speak to the personal mind. And the personal mind is that which is filled with our experiences from the past and our knowledge, the information we've gleaned or read or Googled or YouTubed or heard from our parents or other places. So, yeah, there can be, well, let's just go forward with that. So the first is about understanding who you are. So we spoke about that. Now let's talk about how this looks in the big picture. So I am going to bring out my board. And I don't know why I didn't grab this out a little earlier. Let me just grab a marker. It's very simple, and I'm going to speak it to you. Let me just read. Lady Tammy, I just received the book, The Truth Will Set You Free. But first it will piss you off. I love BAMs. That is a BAM. Yes, I remember before I came to the understanding of the principles. I have a background in energy work, Reiki Master, and I don't do the work in the way that it was taught because I found that when I let spirit flow through me, I just let it do it. I don't need to. I kind of step back and let that stuff happen. So, pardon me, but one of the classes that I taken, I don't know how to mute so I could cough because I feel like I have to cough. So I'm so sorry. You're going to get a cough in your ear. Maybe I'll check into that and see if there's a way that I can do that. Right. It was called Breakthrough. And it was called A Life Science Through the Body Talk Association. And that was when it really became clear that I'm creating. It's of my own making. And it's just like, what? How can I be doing this? And I kind of got down on myself and then got on a mission to look at every little thing and put it through this whole process of finding out what the trigger is and that I'm not my beliefs and I'm not my behavior and all of that. And actually there was some effectiveness to it. Absolutely. But there was a lot going on to get there. And now I can see that it's actually so much simpler. It's so much simpler. You don't follow anything, Lady Tam, you go with the flow. Good on ya. Yes, the more you spark the flame, the bigger and faster it grows. Yes, you're on the same path. It's so great. So great. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little picture. Now, I use two ways, but today I'm going to show you a circled way. This is one that one of my mentors uses, and it makes sense. And then I'll show you a way that I often talk about it as well. So, no, actually I'm going to show you how I see it and how I typically teach. But for the purposes of today, I want to use his. This is how I see it. So I'm just going to call it source. This is infinite intelligence. This is all potentiality. This is everything that could infinite possibilities and ways to experience life are just waiting to be lived through you. This is a heart. So how I see it is that source lives, animates, breathes through us. That this heart represents the guidance of our true nature. And here we are, always thinking. There's always thought going on. That's just the nature of who we are. That's the nature of being human. We think, we have thoughts going through. We have a Buddha in us teaching us, and sometimes he has to yell, oh, does he ever? And he yells through the body, and sometimes other reflections in our outside circumstances. But we can feel it in the body before even any of that. So the body is amazing. So this is how I speak about it. And that basically I look at source as my grounding. This is my understanding. This is something solid that I can depend on 24/7. 24/7 we are being guided by infinite intelligence. We learn to welcome the lesson in the dark. We learn to welcome the lesson in the dark. I have to sit with that one. I like it. Not just through the light. Very good. Got it. Yes, absolutely. This is with us through light or dark. And dark is really of our own making as well. Because whatever we're thinking is what we're feeling in the body, and that's what we're experiencing. So now I'm going to show you this other way. I'm going to find another way to talk about in this picture, because I like this picture better. Uh-oh. I used a different something to clean it yesterday and it feels sticky. So this is sort of the same thing, only. So this is you. This is all that you really are. This is, you are energized and animated, lived by Source. That's you. This is pure. Who you are is pure. We are all equal here. We are all equal everywhere. There's nowhere that we're not equal. I didn't mean just here. But here's, so in this outer circle, this is our psychology. This is our thinking. This is our beliefs. Beliefs, a belief is just thought that you're committed to, that you've grabbed onto, that you're holding on to. It can go, I mentioned this yesterday too, that we are one, absolutely. Beliefs can, or habits, the same kind of thing, they can disappear in a moment because it's all thought. It's only thought. It does not take 21, 30, 60, 70, 90 days to break a habit. It's just not true. So so who you really are, you can't see it. It's formless. It's formless. Your psychology, the thinking, the beliefs, and the feeling, that too is formless. But I want you to notice how you are at the core. Your psychology, your thinking, this is not of you. This is all of you. But the thinking is something we do. It's part of our humanness. And then out here we have our circumstances. So our circumstances are, our people, our partners, our kids, our parents, any person in the world, our desk, our home, our environment, our government, our bank account, our transportation, our pets, and our body. Our body is outside of us. It is not, it is an aspect of what, it's our vessel. It is a representation, it's a vehicle for self-expression. That's how I see it. Who we really are, the essence of each of us. I used to be so negative, just ask my mom, now I don't know how to be. Oh, good for you, Lady Tammy, happy for you. Awesome. Yeah. Our body is outside of us, of who we really are. And who we really are, this formless energy, is like 99.9999999, I think it's 7 nines % of who we really are. And our physical body is like well, it's the 0.00001. It's finite, and it's very, a teeny tiny part of who we are. And it seems like even when I'm saying that, when I'm repeating that to you, I've had glimpses of it. And then there's just like, oh, my brain can't fathom that infiniteness that we are. But we are vast. You are vast. So I'm always open to the lesson, and I'm so happy and want that for all. Yeah, great. Me too. There's always something I learn. There's always something I learn. So I just wanted to demonstrate this first. When I talk about who you really are and how it looks in the how, and of course it's hard to use words and to draw these things out. But this is a pretty good representation. Everything else, everything is outside of you. So how we're kind of conditioned is to look at things outside of us. We've been conditioned since we came into the world. That there's your toes and there's your nose and there's your, and this is, this, don't touch this and you can't touch that. And we learn all kinds of things, but it's always in relation to something outside of us, which helps us to navigate in the world. Yes, true. But it also has us believing that all of these things that are thinking and our experience of our thinking and all of the circumstances in our life, that they are dictating what kind of life is available to us. So we can look at our body, and then we can think about all the things that we've learned over the years. So I was, going back when I was a little girl, I grew up in a farm in southeast Saskatchewan, and, hanging around the table with all the ladies, all the mums, aunts, grandmas, grams, talking. It was all like so much talk about weight and the body, and I gotta get back on that dang diet, and all the funky things that they were trying to do to change their bodies so they could feel better. Yeah. And I kind of learned that, it's better to be slim. And back then the word skinny was used a lot. Hi. We write our own story. Yes, we do. Christine, so for me, unlike the diagram, the you is actually the biggest part. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love it. Maybe I will draw a picture to show that. It's just that, how could I show that? Yes, you're right. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. The point of this is that you are core. You are the center. You are it. And everything else that we believe is so important and means something about our experience of life has actually nothing to do with it. It's always just about you, your potential energy, that aliveness, that creativity, that just the juice that we bring to the world, that only each of you can bring, that only I can bring in the way that I can through this body. I couldn't do it in anyone else's body. This just doesn't work that way. It doesn't fit. So I just wanted to demonstrate that, and I'll come back to it. So it's so interesting that the things that are formless are the ones that are just so impactful. And then those circumstances around us, it's no wonder that we can get confused, because all of these circumstances typically are, many of them are really physical. I'm saying many of them, like our body, because some may seem not actually, well, we'll just stick with the body today. I can feel I was going to go into a broader space. We have 99.9% DNA, but a unique soul. Yeah, love it, love it. So what you're really seeing when you're looking out, because remember, we're only experiencing the feeling of our own thinking. So when we look in the mirror or look at a picture or whatever, or look down, what we are seeing is the past experiences, like me being teased when I was a kid for being chubby, and we used to sell chickens. We had a grain farm, and we also had chickens. We'd sell the eggs and sell the chickens, and so I'd get chubby chicken, and so it became really obvious to me early on that slim is the way to be. So I used to play games too. I making a promise to God that I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. I didn't understand how the body worked. I didn't really get how it worked, but man, that worked, because all of a sudden my tummy was flatter, and it's like, oh my goodness. It was just, I was just so innocently confused and misunderstood. But we're all innocent in our misunderstanding, because it just looks so real that if I do this, then I will feel better. I did a talk yesterday about emotional eating, and really it was more about our relationship to our emotions, because we're always wanting just to feel better. So we'll look for any means, and typically it's outside of us. We'll look for things outside of us to help us feel better. But the only thing that's happening, it seems that the food or substance like alcohol or whatever, or activity, it seems that thing outside of us is having us feel better. But the only thing that's happening, what's having us feel better, is that we have less thinking on the mind. The thoughts that we were having just a moment ago, that were having us feeling whatever we're feeling, stressed or anxious or sad or angry or even happy. When we put our attention on something like food and eat food, well, now we're not thinking about what we were just thinking about that was having us feel all revved up and not so good. So it looks like this thing, oh, my marker died, called food, is making us feel better if we just continue to eat. Just keep eating. Just go eat something, I'll feel better. But it's not that at all. It's just that we've been distracted from the thoughts that were revving us up in the first place. I'm grateful we are in the I got to catch up on your Lady Tammy. Thank you for being so active. We are life in the human form. Yes, I'm grateful to now. And now is all we got, hey? If you stare at an object while eating, you won't taste it. Yeah. Same with using other senses. Oh, I love it. Yes, we'll do some more exploring down the road if you enjoy this. It's really amazing how our system works. I wanted to make another point here. Right. So when we're looking at our body in the mirror, we're experiencing past experiences. I had another experience that I'll share. I was in grade 8. I moved through this. Within the last year, I moved through this because it was an image that kept coming up, and it's like, right, isn't that interesting? And I was in grade 8, and I wasn't super heavy or any, but I did have a little roll, on my belly, and this guy came up behind me, and he picked me up, and he put his hands right in my low abdomen, and then just flung me away and said, "Oh, you're so fat," because he had his hands on my, and I relived that and relived it and relived it. But really, it wasn't even true. All you can ever experience is a thought. Memory is thought. It's no longer. And the only thing I am experiencing is me settling in to relive something painful. And then I just sat with it. And I had a good cry. I was like feeling the feelings of it. I had a little cry, not long. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, I just needed to feel those feelings. So it's not come up. That has not come up. I've not been, I would call, I haven't had that memory triggered, but now I'm using it to demonstrate. Yeah, all we're ever seeing is our past experiences brought forward, and judgments made and comparisons, like, because I'm not I remember when Bo Derek was a thing and she was a 10, and it's like, wow, I don't know if I could ever, it's like, okay, all right, I'll do my best. It's like, oh my goodness. We get these things in our mind that this is what is acceptable. So we're holding it there. It's like this. We're looking at the mirror, but we're not seeing our actual body. We're seeing all of the thoughts that we have about it, that we've agreed to, that we're still holding there. We also have I call it like casting out of catastrophes, of what might happen. It's like, I've heard a number of times someone say, who will want me? Of people who are looking for a partner, and they look at their body and they are judging as like, who will want me? This is just so, it's heartbreaking, really. And it has nothing to do with that. So let's see but that's what we do. We look and we think that those are all the thoughts that are going on. So when we look at our body, we're really not seeing our body. We're just seeing through this filter. It's like you can't see anything clearly through that. It's just so, but we're feeling it, and it's painful. It can be painful. So, yeah. Oh, and the other thing, yes, how our brains work, how they fill the gap, right? They get a sense of, body, and, I had a C-section with my first child, and it's like there's a scar. So it's just like a rubber band. When you have a scar, it's almost like you tie a rubber band, and then so any excess will like flop over it. So I'll see that is something that I've looked at, and I will still look at it. I just want to give you a little bit of context. So 2 years ago, I was in a coaching session. I was being coached. His name is Jamie Smart. He is well known in the 3 Principles community, and it was around body image and my body, because I kept putting it in the way of the things that I wanted to experience in my life. I just saw it that it was like this. I just saw that it was in the way, and I couldn't do anything until I fix this thing. Anyway, and like any insight that happens, it's really hard to say what he said that made it different, but different it became very clearly. And I could see that, oh my gosh, I'm not my body. I'm not. And I'm also human. So I forget. And so I'll look in the mirror too and see that, role, and it's like, oh, okay. So here's the thing, and we'll get into like what you're seeing is what you're going to look, or what you're looking for is what you're going to see. So if you're game, let me just catch up on the chat here. When I started to focus on me, and yoga became part of my studies, I've grown. I'm crying for you, and I'm crying happy tears. Thank you, Lady Tammy. I make the body I want now that I'm grounded and seeking sparks everywhere. Yeah, awesome. And let's talk about that. If you're up for a little experiment, please play along. So it's just to demonstrate a point, and it'll just take a few seconds. So just for like 5 seconds. Just look around your room and count all of the squares. Just go now. Do it. Okay. Now, let me know in the chat how many you saw. Anyone who wants to play. And you don't have to. You could just know it. But if you want to share, that'd be cool. Yeah. Faith, 6. Now tell me 3, Ren. Awesome. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing. How many squares did you see? Did you see any? Me's 8. Did you see any squares at all in that first one? 6 if I count. Did you just look around the room now and count, Christine? Because maybe I didn't deliver that very well. I'm sorry. It's like joke telling. I'm not very good at joke telling, but I'm getting better. Because the point is, when I sent you looking around for circles, and what I really like to ask is, how many squares did you see? And typically, there's not a lot of squares seeing when all you're looking for is circles. Does that make sense? Yeah. Whatever you're looking for, you didn't hear the circle part. Sorry, did I mess it up? Did I totally mess it up? Did I? I'm so sorry. Cynthia, yes, I probably did. I probably said, I'm so sorry. Even though that was so messed up. Oh, goodness. Yes. The point being, whatever shape you're looking for, you were just looking for perfect squares. Okay, that's awesome. Right? Oh, goodness. Right. And then the point was, I was going to ask how many of the opposite. So how many circles you saw. And sorry about that. The point is, you see, I bet you didn't see. If we did it with another shape, you would get it. But you might try and open your periphery out to catch all different kinds of shapes to catch it. But the point is, you're going to find what you're looking for. Whatever you're looking to see is exactly what you're going to see. And when you do that, do you? Yeah. It's funny, right? So if I'm going to look in the mirror and look at my, lower belly area, if that's the first place, and it still happens. I'm way better, it doesn't happen near as often as it used to, but it does still happen. If I'm going to look at that, I'm going to see what I'm looking for. And if I come to a mirror and I'm looking in my eyes, if I'm looking to me and sort of just overall, is everything okay? Do I have, something on my face or, that kind of thing? If I'm looking at it from a universal mind perspective, allowing the universe, the intelligent energy to lead me. What do I need to know about this in my mirror? Ooh, I'm going to curl my hair today. Okay, I'm going to put some mascara on, so I need to look so I don't poke my eye. But if I'm coming to it with the intent of, let's see how you measure up today, that is what you're going to experience. So you're only ever experiencing, even with your body, what it is that you're looking for, what you're thinking about, what your attention is on. I'm doing a talk next week about attention, the power of it. So yeah, I had some, right, because this is, yes, I do want to point this out, because what this has us doing is hiding, because it doesn't just stay in our bathroom. Then we take this clouded judgment of ourselves into our world. And we hide from our partners. We hide from cool experiences that we could partake in, but what if someone sees me, or ooh, I can't run, or you know, going to the taking our kids to the beach or the pool, or you know, not wanting to go see old friends because I'm saying all these things because I've experienced them. I don't want them to see me like this because I'm ashamed. It's like, oh, wow. It was such a relief to me. It was such a relief to understand that I am making this all up. I am creating this experience in my mind. And I also want to talk about some practical things too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to look at my notes and went, right, yeah. Oh, it's not only those simple things, it's what kind of job I can get, what kind of, this whole idea about partner, about waiting. I have people in my life who are waiting to change their body so that they will feel like they can invite someone in to love them. Once we kind of get that, we're making that part up, and that we are whole, and what it's our thinking that has us experiencing it. It just kind of takes a lot away. I want to share something because people who I've worked with in their body, inevitably, they want to work on their relationships when they understand this whole dynamic that's going on in our mind. They want to, it's like, oh my gosh, can you help me with my relationship with my kids or my husband or my whatever? This is the thing I want you to see too. It's not just about the body. It's actually true everywhere, in all aspects of our life. That's what I love about it. It's like the three principles, this understanding is like a one-stop shop for living like a peaceful, satisfying life. And truth, there's no easy button here. There's the easy button. If there's an easy button, it's this. This is the easy button. But our humanness can get in the way of that. So it can feel like it's not easy. But there's not a lot to do when you're dealing with something that's not even real, that's made up. Thought is just energy. It's like poof. It's like a cloud. It comes and goes. You can't, wrangle it and try and, it'll dissipate. You can't grab onto it or hold it. It's not real. There's no substance to it. I don't know if I finished my point, but I'll leave it there for a moment. So here's what you can do. Here's what all that needs doing is remembering who you are, remembering where our experience comes from, what we're experiencing, remembering that our body is not, it's not us. That's not really who we are. And yes, I understand that it's not always helpful. Years ago, I think the woman was, I don't know, I can't remember what her name is, but it doesn't matter. It was a book that was about loving your body. I thought, I don't want to love my body. If I love my body, then I'll never change it. And then what if I just gain more weight and get more unfit and all of that? Like, I was against loving my body. When I say it out loud, it sounds so crazy. But I didn't. Because I was afraid that I would always be like this. And then I learned that it is nothing. It's not about loving the body. It's not about loving the body. It's about loving and accepting who I really am, who you really are. That is what changes the body, if there's anything to change. If. And the only thing I would listen to around that is wisdom. The universal mind. Not my personal mind. Because my personal mind all day long would say, Michaela, you need to drop a few pounds. Michaela, and now I've gone through menopause and things are different. My body is different. I'm getting to know it. I'm experimenting with it. Because it's like, it doesn't act like it used to. It doesn't respond in the same way. So it's like, okay, there's a physiology, there's a biology going on here too. But guess who knows about that? It's not, Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, Billie Jean out there with the best, diet or whatever. What's going to guide me is wisdom. And it has. I used to be very stubborn. I hope this is okay that I'm noticing how much I'm saying I. And I know I'm not supposed to talk about myself so much, but it's easy to use my own experiences to help you to see something for yourself. So I hope that's okay. Oh, what was I saying? I was saying that, oh, right. I used to be so stubborn, thinking I'm an intuitive person. I'll just know what's right for me, and I'll just know. And to a huge extent, yes. Relatable, niece, great. As it's helpful, okay, great. Thank you, Christine. Thank you. I used to be so stubborn. And then I went for years refusing to take some thyroid medication because my thyroid was slow, and it was like, my sister died. I turned 50. It was like within a month I had missed my first period. I don't know if there's a guy, I hope you're okay with me talking so openly, but you know what? Let's get real here. And then in less than a year, my sister died. I had depression before that. Depressive thoughts. I have a different view on it now. Now that I understand the 3 principles, it's like, wow, I wonder what my experience would have been. Anyways, my doctor, he said, well, first of all, he said all kinds of things, and helpful and not helpful too. But I thought, and he said, I think you should go. This I recommend, and I didn't want to. It's like, no, I don't need any of that. I'll do this on my own. I'll try natural stuff, and So after, a really long time, I finally went on it. And it didn't help right away. I don't even know if that is what helped. I think maybe it was a culmination of things. But my point is that, wow, I can look back and I can see how stubborn I was. And I can still be that way. Because I think, I've got this going for me. I don't need anybody to... It's like, no. Actually, I do still need that guidance too. So I've been guided to some things that have helped me, that are outside of me. But where did the guidance come from? It was like, oh, I need to check this out. Okay, I don't know why. I've looked at this a few times. I've never felt it like this. It's like I'm doing that. It was in regards to body movement and stuff. So it's helpful. Lady Tammy, I discovered my gluten sensitivity is my body's way of telling me what it doesn't want. It tried telling me, and I didn't listen for a long time. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, I so hear you. I relate to that with so many things. And I discovered it because I went from manageable symptoms to vertigo and figured it out. Wow. Right? It's like the universe says, Lady Tammy, Lady Tammy, Lady Tammy, right? That's how I seem to experience it too. It's like you can continue on and it'll keep getting worse if you don't listen and pay attention to it. So I know we're running out of time. I really wanted to answer more questions too, but I want to get to other things to do. So remembering who you are, remembering that infinite intelligence is guiding you 24/7 in how to nourish your body, in what to feed it, in when to sleep, in when to drink, in when to, use the washroom, in whatever, in when you need to move. All of a sudden it's just like, I gotta move. It's like we have joints and things that are, we wouldn't have all these things, and we have taste buds. We have senses. We have all of these things. These are a gift that are meant to be used and will be guided in that. So remembering that your body is a vehicle made for expressing your true nature through it. It's our vehicle. And I find this to be helpful, especially when there's a lot of emotion. We're going to talk about the body, but you can do this at anything within your life, or within your life. Smiling and shining brighter. Thank you. Awesome. No, doctor, you just know. Yeah, right? Yes. Trusting yourself. What I find really helpful is being factual, because facts are indisputable. Our thinking is always subjective. So you can separate facts from story if you just look at it. So I could I'll take my body. I can look in the mirror and I can look at it and factually look and say, yep, I have a C-section scar. Yep, I have some excess flesh that's hanging over it. Full stop, period. That's it. There might be other things that I see that are a fact, but when I'm looking at it from a natural, like, what is the function of my body? Factual function. It helps me to see it for what it is. And what do I want to do with it? What would be cool today? What would be fun? But when I look at it from that factual, it takes the emotion out. The thinking. It takes the thinking, but it helps you to separate it. I found that helpful for me. And in other areas of my life too, where I can get caught up in something. It's like, okay, what are the facts here? Because usually the facts are very few. And the thoughts are many. So when you can do that, it's like, I find it very helpful. Maybe it'll help you too. Right. Here's a missing piece. This was the missing piece. It's like, what do you want? What do you want to feel? Why do you want to feel it? When you can really be clear on this, it will take off. It will turn your attention from what you don't want. It'll turn it from the squares to the circles. Let's say you want the circles. Because when you look to what you want, and not like from what you want, what inspires you, what is guiding you, what is it that you truly want? What do you want to feel? What kind of relationship do you want with your body? Within your body. So I was a little heavier last summer. And I did this exercise, just that. What do I want? What do I really want? What do I want to do with this thing? Well, I've run a marathon. I used to do a lot of running. I don't run as often anymore. I still enjoy running. I like kayaking. I like walking. I like hiking. I like biking. I like all kinds of things. But it's like, what do I want? What's the relationship I want? And it's like, wow, I want to honor it. I want to honor it for what it is. And it's like, well, what do I want to feel in it? And it's just like, oh, I want to feel agile. I want to feel agile, and I want to feel contained. I don't want to feel I want to feel contained. And there was a feeling to that. And you will come up with different words, and you will come up with different feelings that you're kind of looking for. So that was like one part that had me all of a sudden out of the blue. I started doing yoga like several times a week and loved it. And I've done yoga off and on throughout the years, and I do really enjoy it. But all of a sudden I was just doing it, and I was wanting. Guess what? I was becoming more and more agile. And interesting story, before I even got into this, where all of a sudden I'm doing yoga and I was just following it. Like, what do I want? What feels good? Yesterday morning I danced. I wanted to walk, but it was so smoky out, so I danced. The more I practice body scanning tool, yes. Oh, I'm going to do some of that. The more I practice and grow, my external image is getting closer and closer to where I see it. Yes, accept the now and create the now you see. Yeah. When you're clear about what you really want, even in life, like with the experience of the body wanting to feel agile, all of a sudden I was drawn to things that were having me be even more agile. Oh, I started to tell a story about a friend who we went I took her kayaking, had 2 kayaks on the truck, and I was jumping like all over through. It was an SUV, and I would go on top, and she said, oh my gosh, you're like a monkey. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm already agile. I was already agile. And you might find that too, that what you're really wanting to experience, to feel, to happen, you already have that going. And maybe you just want more of it. Here's the thing. Without changing, without thinking, okay, and now I have to like adjust my food, and I got to do yoga like 6 times. Okay, I'm going to do it 6 times a week. As soon as I try and put any kind of rules to it, I want to bust out. Your wisdom will guide you in how to nourish your body, in what kind of movement it wants to do, on what particular day, for what duration of time. We really have a lot going for us. We have everything going for us. I just want to see if, I just have I'm going to read this out because it was a long sentence that I wrote, because I'm hearing these things again when I write, like when I pondered, like there's so many places I could go, what would be the most helpful? And I wrote, look for what you want to see that brings you the feeling you want to feel, and you will begin to see it everywhere. The feeling is key. When you're feeling good, when it's feeling good, you will be seeing, you'll be looking for the things that you want. You will be attracting them. I think I mentioned that when I look at the 3 principles. A few months ago, I looked at spiritual laws of the universe or something. And I read through them, and, I've studied a law of attraction as well. But when I look at the 3 principles, it's like, oh, yeah, it's all in there. It's all there. you attract what you're looking for. When you're looking for something that has you feeling good, you will attract more and more things that have you feeling that feeling. And it won't be just about the body, it'll be in all different areas in your life. And you will be guided. And you will find that if there's something to do, if there's something that you need to change or whatever, or cut out gluten or something like that, it doesn't come from here. Let the guidance come from here. I'm sorry we've gone over what I mentioned, or what I had intended for this to be an hour. I hope that's okay. I will try and keep it to an hour next times. I'm just going to read the comments. No, you don't have a schedule. Yeah, I want to experience peace. Me too, Mies. Me too. Today I do 2 classes and sometimes I skip days, and I've passed my weight goal and on to the next 1-2 pounds more. Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome. The awesomeness is in the feeling of what it feels to you, right? How does it feel? And prior to listening and hearing, I couldn't lose anything. I would gain easy. Yeah. The power of thought, thought has so much power. So much power. Christine, are you still here? First of all, do you have any questions? Yes. Okay. Do you? Because I would answer your question if you like, but I wanted to see if there was any questions about today's topic or anything you'd like to, okay, I will answer that. Is there any other questions about today that you would like to, say or mention or whatever, or ask? Just let me know. And I'm going to answer a question that Christine had posed yesterday, and it was about pain in the body and how that looks with, pressed up against how the mind works. Here's the thing, and here's the example that I had given. We have a physical body. We do. It's a biological body. If you came and stomped on my foot and then told me that the pain I'm feeling is all in my mind, that I'm just, I just made all that up, I would just nah, I'm feeling it. But here's the thing. Now, I had a conversation with a nurse, and she kind of gave me a new, maybe a deeper or a brighter light shining on this to help me understand differently. But here's an example. So you touch a hot stove, and you touch it. Now, pain is real, and yes, breath can help you, absolutely. When you touch a hot stove, the first thing, if you've ever done it, or a prick of a pin, or something pokes you, like a sliver, whatever, something that is kind of sharp like that. It's a good example. So your fingers touch the stove, and the thought, it's not pain. Like when you first, just think back for a moment to something that happened. It's almost shock, like, huh? It's not, in my experience, it's not what I would call pain. It's like there's a physical thing that happened. It sent, the nerves in my fingers sent a notice to my brain in a split second. And my brain said, pull it off. It was like an instant reaction, right? It's surprise, right? It's like shock. It's like surprise. And then our thought kicks in. Burnt. That means pain. Thought always precedes the feeling. So what does that mean? Well, here's an example. Have you ever, I'll use this. Have you ever I broke I don't know if I broke it, but I ran into something and my little toe, I had a lot of pain there. And I would forget about it. And then I would remember it. Sometimes I bumped it and then I remembered it. And then I thought about all the pain. And sometimes I would just, be out, around, and I'd see I have a swing outside out back, and I'd swing and I'd see my foot. And it's like, oh yeah, my foot. And then it would start to hurt. Our thoughts have the capacity to, as soon as we put our attention on something, we blow it up. We blow it up bigger. The more attention we give it, the bigger and bigger it gets. When we kind of forget about it, we get distracted about it. Have you ever had a headache? And you go about, you're doing something and you kind of forget. And then, someone says, how's your headache? And it's like, oh yeah, it's still there. But a moment ago, it wasn't. So there is a correlation. And there is also, we have a physical body that also has stuff going on that I can't begin to guess or understand. But I do know that thought, here's an example. This is a client, someone I work with. I shared this yesterday. Maybe you heard this part, Christine, I'm not sure. But she would, when she would get up, it would be like she would use the table and then find things. She would walk along the wall because there was so much pain in her body. And I said, what would you like instead? And she's, it's like, well, she wanted to be free of pain. I said, let's find something that doesn't have the word pain in it. It's like, what do you want? What else do you want? I just want to do it. I want to feel strong, and I just want to do it. She did it. Like, that has been her life now. This was back in November, early December. She told me recently, she said, every now and again, if I'm feeling like tired or whatever, it's just like, oh, and then it's like, nope, I am, and up she would get without having to hold on or use all of her arm strength to try and push her up. It's powerful. Thought is powerful. We just have no idea. Well, you do. You do now. You do now. So yes, it can affect your pain. It can affect the level of pain. I believe that healing can happen just like that. I do energy, right? I guess I'm not supposed to talk about that. Let's see. I told you that was my background. So I've seen things change that you just there's no scientific way that you can describe it except for that's just energy healing energy. Balancing it, removing. And really what's happening is thoughts are falling away. I do see a lot of where there's been trauma and there's been a part of a body that it's held. That too is thought. We're getting kind of off topic here, but was that helpful, Christine? And anybody else, is there anything else that you would like to ask or share before we close this call for today? This has been wonderful. Awesome. If you have any questions about that, Christine, I'm happy to converse with you off, in the message again. Yeah. And I will also, when you ask, yeah, you bet. When you ask questions, then, and my words that are coming out in the moment aren't connecting or speaking, it's like, I would love to know, because I'll just ponder it. I'll take it into quiet time and sit with it and just see what comes up. I invite you to do that too, because you've got that ability as well. This has truly been a pleasure, and I've enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful in some way. If you would like, if this is new, I didn't ask, like if this was a first time for you here, I didn't see who was all there yesterday. I'm just getting used to the app and how it kind of works. So I would love to hear. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them. If you have anything that you would like to see me talk about. Thank you for the insight. Yes, first time. Great. Nice to be in company with you, Faith. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. I'm going live a few times next week about various subjects. One is the role of thought in relation to food. So you might hear some similar things, because it's always about thought, but it's amazing because there's so many different ways we can look at it and talk about it. And especially if there's specific things that you would like explored, then we can speak to that. So that's lovely. The power of attention, looking forward to that too. And healing the body from the inside out, which we kind of talked about it in talking about the energy and stuff, but we'll explore it more next week. So if there's nothing else, then thank you so much for being here in company with me. Would love to see you again, if it connects and it feels good to you. And love to you. Hope to see you again. Ciao.